Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my very first edition of Rantin Sports, the podcast with a rantin twist. I'm going to be centering around things within the NFL, college football, and as well as professional wrestling. Today, I'm going to be talking about in the NFL, and as far as the NFL season, well, it has concluded. And the playoffs are underway. In this season, certain teams were surprising, while other teams thought they had it, but it slipped out of their grasp and they fell flat on their face. One of the teams I'm going to be talking about today is the hometown team of myself with the Atlanta Falcons. The 2024 season for the Atlanta Falcons was supposed to be the season for the team that will right the ship and to be competitive with their expectations met, in which they were for the most part because they went 6-3 to start off the season, but the team was pretty much up or down right after that, especially for an idiot they have as head coach. Last January, when the Falcons went for Raheem Morris to be their head coach and bringing him back to Atlanta, at the moment, I knew they were not serious for establishing a winning culture, as Raheem Morris's coaching record is 29-47 with a .382 winning percentage. That's bad. The front office passed on quality candidates like Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, and Mike Macdonald in favor of someone the organization is too familiar with, knowing that the person they pick has been a certified loser as a head coach for a very long time. Nevertheless, the Falcons finished this season 8-9, as their playoff drought has been extended to 7 years, and their division title drought was extended to 8 years. It's even bothersome when he started off 6-3, and then would collapse soon after that and would finish 2-6 for the rest of the year, before and after the bye week. As far as division-wise, the Falcons were 4-1 in their division and was on the verge of clinching the NFC South. But that was slipped out of their grasp in a mere seconds when they lost to the Saints in Week 10 and the Carolina Panthers in the final game of the season in Week 18. Outside of this, they had an opportunity to win against AFC-based teams like the Steelers in Week 1, the Chiefs in Week 3, and the Chargers in Week 13, but failed to capitalize because the team has an idiot of a head coach where his strongest asset is being oblivious to what's happening on the field and chewing gum, and from the looks of it, the players are actually picking up his nonchalant, don't care about nothing attitude, and that's a bad look. Because Raheem Morris is more of a locker room guy than a coach that's hard-nosed and can light a fire under somebody when they mess up. As far as the quarterback situation, no disrespect to Kirk Cousins, as for the most part, he did decent. He did what he could. But I believe that Michael Penix Jr. should have started right after when Kirk was messing up, especially against those crucial games that the Falcons needed to control the NFC South and to have a double-digit winning season. But they're heading home, and the offseason starts now. Once again, for the 7th straight year, the Atlanta Falcons have wasted a good season, especially a good season this year in the likes of Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Bijan Robinson, Caden Ellis, Arnold Ebiketie, as well as Jesse Bates and A.J. Terrell. With Raheem Morris as head coach, and he has no business being a head coach. This organization is starting to lose the fan base and their players, as some of them are thinking about jumping onto a better ship, or some of them are going to be actually be traded to a team that's going to coach them to their abilities, because obviously they deserve better as much as the fans do. I'm talking to the players at that. To be very honest, as long as Arthur Blank is the owner, as long as Arthur Blank continues to make these wrong moves and decisions within at the top of the front office and the organization, along with Terry Fontenot and Rich McKay, the team would never go anywhere. The Falcons would be stuck in mediocrity for good. Raheem Morris should be fired, but don't be surprised if he isn't. Because, of course, he's Arthur Blank's buddy. And he might get a second chance to mess up again. Arthur Blank is more like Jerry Jones Jr., as he refuses to let go of the past and move forward in a new direction for the team. As far as the Falcons fan base goes, and as far as Mercedes-Benz Stadium goes, expect to see empty stadium seats next season because it's going to be the same song and dance from this season and the 3 seasons we had with Arthur Smith. When we come back, I'm going to give you some takeaways and keynotes about this season, and I'm going to roast Raheem Morris even more. So we'll be right back in a couple of seconds. Welcome back to my very first edition of Rantin Sports, and man, let me tell you, the Falcons can literally enter the next season with the worst coach in the NFL. Raheem Morris is a bad coach. He has a 29-47 record with a .382 winning percentage. He doesn't create game plans. He's more like Dan Quinn 2.0. He admits to actually having control of the defense, in which I think Jimmy Lake might be a scapegoat, in which Jimmy Lake may be out the door because he's eventually going to get fired. They're just looking for a scapegoat. I already know it. He throws his players underneath the bus instead of taking the blame for himself. He's a horrible clock manager, and he's more of a player's coach, like I just said. He's not really like a hard-nosed coach like a Bill Belichick or maybe Mike Tomlin. He's just a player's coach. He's more, if I could put this in John Taffer words on Bar Rescue, he's more of a stupid advisor who accomplished absolutely nothing. Like I said, the Atlanta Falcons are the Falcons. They're going to mess up whenever it matters the most. Like I said before, this was a wasted season for a lot of the players, especially for players like Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Jesse Bates, and Caden Ellis, along with a few others. They let the NFC South slip into the Bucs' grasp. When they was playing against the Carolina Panthers in the final game of the season, when they saw that the Buccaneers already put away the season and won the division, they just gave up. Turnovers from Kirk Cousins killed this entire season. I really think they should have turned over to Michael Penix earlier. Especially, I think they should have turned to Michael Penix literally after that Broncos game before the bye week. Kirk Cousins could be traded. They may keep Kirk Cousins, or he may end up going to another team. A team that's been talked about has been the Cleveland Browns because Kevin Stefanski is there. And Kevin Stefanski was the Vikings offensive coordinator when Kirk Cousins was there. So, as far as the Falcons team as a whole, it's back to the drawing board, now with Penix under center. Like I said, Kirk Cousins, he may stay here, but he may be demoted to backup, and Kirk Cousins is probably going to teach Penix more, as Michael Penix will be the starting quarterback for the future. I got the opponents for 2025, and let me tell you this. For the Atlanta Falcons, every single time the Atlanta Falcons get a schedule for their season, it's almost like when you watch them play, it's no walk in the park. The schedule that they have this upcoming season is definitely no walk in the park. At home, you got the Panthers, you got the Saints, you have the Bucs, you have the Rams, you have the Seahawks, you have the Bills, you have the Dolphins, and you have the Washington Commanders for the up-team time. And then when they go on the road next season, they're going to be at the Panthers, they're going to be at the Saints, at the Bucs, at the Arizona Cardinals, at the San Francisco 49ers, at the New England Patriots, at the New York Jets, at the Minnesota Vikings. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a beautiful game. And they're gonna be at the Indianapolis Colts. From the looks of it, it's more of a middle of the pack schedule because you have tougher teams, and then you have typical teams that the Falcons would usually beat. But like I said, when it comes to the Falcons, there's no such thing as easy street. In order for them to win next season, with Raheem Morris as head coach, because evidently he's probably not going to get fired, they're going to have to come up with a brand new game plan or come up with game plans that can literally match their opponents. Don't give up 44 on your defense. And if Jimmy Lake is fired, then Raheem Morris should go out there and find a quality defensive coordinator. Have somebody shut down their opponents, like Brian Flores has been doing with the Vikings all season. This is it for Rantin Sports. This is my very first episode. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Do you think the Atlanta Falcons will meet their expectations next year with Raheem Morris as head coach? Do you think Raheem Morris should have been fired already? Let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Rantin Sports.